Welcome to Western Door Paranormal Studies. My name is Tony Burtis, host and lead investigator. Now, this tale of murder and mayhem begins in the village of Boston, New York, when the Thayer brothers would pay a violent visit to John Love.
The Thayer brothers, Nelson, Israel, and Isaac, borrowed money from philanthropist John Love using their property as collateral. The brothers failed to pay and became fearful that John was going to stake his claim on their property, so they hatched a plan and paid a call on Love at his property in Boston, New York, where they proceeded to brutally murder him. The law caught up with them, and on June 17, 1825, they became Buffalo's first and only public hanging.
Now, the gallows themselves were actually located right about where the steps are at Buffalo City Hall. Now, Buffalo City Hall itself is also a haunted location. There are a lot of ghost stories that emanate from inside the structure. No wonder why. There has been several suicides that took place in the building. One of the stories that come from the building, though, have a direct connection to the hanging of the Thayer brothers. Now, according to folklore, the Thayer brothers actually believed that the large crowd that massed there to witness their hanging was actually going to spring them. So they really didn't think the hanging was going to take place. Now, just as they were about to get hung, the entire crowd began to make noises like pigs. So one of the reports from inside of City Hall is that you can actually still hear the squealing and the oinking of the crowd as they made those noises. Now, that could be an example of a residual haunt, and would be a story that would seem to be linked to the inside of City Hall. Now, my theory is that if the gallows were constructed on the stairs, and this is where the actual event took place, it's possible, and only possible, that those very same squeals should be able to be heard right in that location. Now, as far as anything else goes, I don't know if we're going to be able to catch any other evidence of paranormal activity. It would be nice to see if we could actually communicate with the Thayer brothers if they're still hanging out, because they could be responsible for some of the hauntings that are in City Hall. So the ultimate, I suppose, would be to pick up on the squealing. But let's see if we can pick up on anything else. I'm not going to do a walk around the monument with my EMF detector, see if I can pick up any anomalous EMF readings. Now, I'm not ruling out anything I pick up could indeed be due to some wiring and lighting that's actually around the monument or underground cables. So I'm just going to take this reading here anyway, see if there's anything that I might consider out of the ordinary. For this, I'm using my EMF detector. There's no lights, bells, or whistles, but it does have a digital readout. As I bump into EMF fields, the numbers will fluctuate. Usually, they'll just go up. I'm going to take the camera with me on the walk around. In case I do get something that I can't explain, I'll actually be able to document it on film. As you can see, the readings around here are pretty clean, pretty much a 0.1. So as I go around, we'll see if that fluctuates. I just did hit a 0.5. That's the first time I got anything like that. See if I can run into that again. Go back to the approximate area where I hit the 0.5. Okay, that was... Now the EMF surrounding the monument area was pretty much base between 0.1 and 0.2. But pretty much right behind me, I did hit a 0.5, and it's the only time I did that. So I do find that at least slightly curious that around this whole area, which I expected to be saturated with EMF, it really wasn't. And it hit a 0.5, which is fairly high for an EMF reading, and I wasn't able to recreate it or pick it up again. Now that tells me somewhere there was some kind of anomalous energy pocket. Was it paranormal? That I don't know. I just find it unusual. Now it's worth noting that in addition to the EMF spike that I did have, I also had an unexplained battery drain from my camera. My camera pretty much went right to red, then I kind of backed off a little bit and I turned it back on, and sometimes it'll come on with maybe a dot or two left, but it came on with almost a full battery charge. So I kind of consider that not out of the ordinary. It's happened before during ghost hunts where a spirit is trying to manifest will drain a device that's operated by batteries. In this case, I can't say whether for sure it did or not, but it was just odd because now my camera's back at full charge and I did not put new batteries in. That's nice. Now VVP stands for Video Voice Phenomenon. It's the same thing as an EVP, but a VVP, you actually get it using a video camera, which in a lot of cases is even more significant because you can see what's going on around you. You can tell in a lot of cases that nobody was there at the time of the recording. So in this situation, I get a VVP of a male voice that says, "Guy." Now I think it was just someone trying to get my attention. Now this next VVP to me is kind of unnerving. The male voice says, "Look, no hands." Now, based on some of the events that happened in that spot between the hanging and between the unfortunate suicides, I can't really put together exactly who might have been saying this. It could have been a suicide spirit sarcasm, or it could have been one of the Thayer brothers hanging saying, "No hands." Either way, I think it's a case of a spirit being kind of sarcastic toward what was going on and just trying to convey and get his message across. Now, I went into this investigation with a simple principle. If there's ghosts inside of the building, I kind of reasoned why wouldn't there be ghosts on the outside of the building? Because a lot of things that happened here were more outside in a way anyway. From the unfortunate jumpers who perished outside to the Thayer brothers who got hung pretty much right on City Hall's steps. Now, when I went there, honestly, I wasn't sure if I was going to really get anything because none of these stories that went hand in hand with City Hall were ever really told from the outside. So I really didn't know what to expect, and to be honest with you, I didn't think I was going to get anything. But the spirits certainly proved me wrong. With a handful of EVPs, a couple of VVPs, the strange drain on my camera battery, and that 1.5 EMF spike that I was never able to reproduce. Also, I did this investigation at roughly 6 in the morning to make sure that there would be as little contamination as possible. And as I've been trying to do the last handful of investigations, this was done in the daylight, which to try and illustrate that not all ghosts come out at night, and I've been very successful with that so far. So McKinley Monument, a beautiful monument, it honors a great man, and apparently based on the evidence I got, it's just as haunted as City Hall itself.